Can you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the same feature, if you see, go into the field many times, you will be seeing that along the river there are various kinds of scrub going along the water bodies. At the season recedes, the scrubs are grown along the adjoining area along the outer periphery. So the same feature, if you want to see on a satellite image how it look like, so you can see that in between you have got a deep water that is devoid of vegetation, and along that you will be seeing some vegetation in the other season. So if during the monsoon period the extension is very high, and as the water recedes, this grows in nature. So can you see that? On the right hand side you can
Yes, sir.
see that how these features will be changing, how the water area will be decreasing and how the scrubs will be going around. So how will you identify which area is pure water and which is impure, which are the areas which are having scrub? So those kind of feature can be easily delineated using satellite images, where the scrub lands can be seen along the outer periphery of a river water body, and in between where it's a pure water, you can see that here there is a pure water, there is no scrub, so it will be seen as black in color. And along the waters where there is a scrub land, there is a grasses that is grown, so that will be seen as a pink and red in color with a smooth texture. So whenever you will be finding a smooth texture with pink to red color over a water body, that is an indicative of scrubs in that area. If you go about want to see the paleo channels, how the paleo channels look like in a satellite image, they are the remnants of the uh, old river channels. So you can see that this paleo channels look like a oxbow lake. So whenever you see a oxbow lake, that is an indicative of a paleo channel. So the paleo channels are those channels where the river used to flow in the earlier past, but now because of the river migration, it has changed its path, and that is indicative that sometime long years ago the river was flowing in that area. So how it will be look like? That will be looking like as a oxbow, like as a oxbow horse bow. It will be looking like. So you can see that this oxbow legs are seen as a black in color with a ox shape. So you can easily see those features on a satellite image, or you can easily identify those features. And the same features, when you will be going into the field, you can see the field photographs of those areas where in case there is a red or pink red in color over that top water body, that is an indicative of a water hyacinth or a scrubland that is growing over the water body. So you can say by seeing a satellite image the condition about the water, whether the water quality is good or bad, because such plants are indicative of the water environment in that area, whether the what is the water quality in that area, whether you can go for fisheries, whether you can directly take those waters. So by studying those parameters you can see how remote sensing can provide the real understanding of the water quality. And these waters are not only available in the low lying area, generally such kinds of features are most prominent in areas of what you can say plain land area, plains. But these lakes are not only found in plain area like in UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, but also on a highland area. Just like if you go to Pangong Lake, you can see that this lakes is formed. So how these lakes look like in a satellite image, you can see that how they looks like. And if you want to see the condition of those glacier, whether the area or the volume of water is increasing or decreasing, because many times these lakes are responsible of creating some hazards or creating some flood like condition in the areas living in and around the people can have a danger. So in order to have a real analysis, you can see how the satellite images can be used for mapping of this highland lakes that are created. Many times this also occurs with a new definition nowadays. We come and we see as GLOF is glacial lake outburst flood, where artificial grades are created, lakes are created because of the change in the geomorphological condition in that area. and you have to identify those lakes, because many times in recent history they are the indicative of creating a huge disaster, especially for in the low lying area. So recent Kedarnath and Uttarakhand flood was or reason or was created because of Glof. Glof is glacial lake outflows for where along the border of the glacier there is an artificial lake created, and because of the sediment contained or the residue that gets blocked up, and over the year because of the high rainfall maybe, or because of high what you can say glacier mass, they create a huge amount of water, and many times that creates a artificial flake layer, and that can create a flood like condition in low lying areas. In the same way, you can see this waterlogged area, how this waterlogged areas look like in a satellite images. So waterlogged areas are those logged areas where the water stays throughout the year on the land. So how they look like, you can see a satellite images how if the waterlogged areas have some scrubs over it, how this will be seen on a satellite image, and they are classified as inland natural riverine wetlands. So these are wetlands that are created along the river, and you can see that some scrubs are grown over it, and how it will be seen. So you won't be seeing water as a pure in color, you will be seeing that with the scrubs pink or red in color. So that is an indicative of various kinds of scrubs grown on that area. Can you see this satellite image?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
anybody? Yeah. So you can
Yes.
see these features how in satellite images those scrubs and water body, if they are mixed together, what are the environment, what is the habitat, what is the biodiversity. We can comment about those features by seeing the multi-temporal satellite images. If you want to see the change in the river characteristics or the volume of water, or if you want to study the migration, so you will be taking up uh, case study I have taken of a pre and post monsoon satellite images of a river that is going flowing in Assam. That is a Brahmaputra river. I have taken a part of that, and you can see that what was the water contained during post monsoon in 2006, and what is the water contained in pre monsoon in 2007. So you can see that the volume of water was very high during the monsoon period, and as the monsoon period receded, you can see that the water is very low in nature. Not only that, we can also comment about the river migration, whether the river is flowing in the same direction or whether it has migrated its channel. Apart from that, because the satellite images provides you a holistic overview, so you can see that what are the changes that has happened over the decade, over the area. A large area is viewed at a single point of time, so we can see the amount, exact amount of riverine sand, what is the volume of water, what are the agriculture practices that we are doing prior to monsoon, pre-monsoon. So all the information can be easily obtained using satellite remote sensing data. So you can see that there is a difference in color during pre and post monsoon in the water body or in the river channel. That is because during pre-monsoon the settlements get settled, and the water quality is more pure. If we compare that with the water that is flowing during a monsoon period, it contains a lot of sediment. That's why you will be seeing that is a slightest bluey in color. But if you go to the pre-monsoon, the color changes. So the color is indicative of maybe the sediment content, maybe the water quality, maybe the depth. So all such information, minute information, can be directly obtained from satellite image. On the right hand side, you can see that there is a main river that is what it flows during a post monsoon and then during pre monsoon. So you can see the change dynamics. If you want to do change dynamics related to river hydrology or river dynamics, if you want to see what is the total volume of water that is coming during post monsoon, then accordingly you can act and you can create various kinds of flood risk map, so that in the low lying areas the water doesn't flow down. So for that, the information is very important. So you can see that the satellite images provides you the real information about the water, about the volume, about the sediment content, and the same feature you see there is a secondary tributary that is attaching to the main river, and here you can see that the peoples are doing various kinds of fishery. So you can see how the volume of water is changing and how it will be looking into the field. They are the field photographs that are connected to it. So that are natural in nature. When you see a satellite image, those features what I have shown, they are natural. Now we'll go to the man-made. So whenever you will see a feature where you have got a straight line connection, that is an embankment that we have created, and along there is a irregular shape, that is an indicative of a man-made reservoir. So whenever you will see such kind of shapes in your satellite image, that is indicative of man-made reservoir. So you can see that is a man-made reservoir, and the color is changing. The color is changing, as I've already stated. It is dependent on the sediment content. During post monsoon, the sediment contents are very high. That's why you will have more brighter bluish in color. And as you will go towards the pre monsoon, the color gets in the darker side. So they are indicative of the uh, sediment content. In the same way, if you want to see the salt pant land, yeah, how that sees, because those features. Seeing by seeing the different features, how those features are seen on a satellite image, and thereafter mapping is the accuracy depends on that. So that's why we always say that the accuracy of map depends on interpreter experience. If he is more experienced, if he has worked on a diverse data set, so he can understand more features, he can have a more clearer picture of the earth. The same way, if you want to see the different kinds of man-made lakes, ponds, and reservoir. So how you will differentiate between a pond and a reservoir? Ponds are generally smaller in size, and tanks will be lesser in size if you compare with a pond that will be generally a square in shape. When you see a tank, we will have a square in shape, that is a tank indicative. If you got a bigger size than tank, but that is the size is abnormal, that will be classified under pond. And if it is a big volume of water, that will be classified under reservoir. So under the water glass or on the water body, now you can identify four various types of for what or for which feature you will be seeing that as a tank. So you can see these smaller features will be classified under tank, and the bigger features will be classified under ponds and reservoir. So you can see what was the change dynamics during pre and post monsoon. So you can see that if you've created a large number of ponds and reservoir, even if the water is going as a runoff, you can create a small barriers, check dams, artificial sites you can create, so that this water are stored in this ponds, in this tanks, in this reservoir of smaller in nature in the agricultural land, so that in case there is a deficit of rainfall in any current year, you can use this existing water for the irrigation purpose. Not only you can use that for the irrigation purpose, if you are storing the data, if you are creating various ponds, tanks, and dam in any particular area, that will directly increase the water table in that area, and the water scarcity problem that we are facing nowadays in each and every part of India, and that will be resolved. That's why it's very important to have a proper understanding of the runoff modeling, drainage, morphometric analysis, water budgeting are very important topics that you will be studying in your current semester. Your senior batch students, Samtech students are currently pursuing that paper, and they are now being expertise how to interpret those features on a satellite image and how you will be modeling it. So that is very important how you see any object on a satellite image, and how that is a representative, and how it will be seen on your ground. So all the images what here we are seeing in a satellite images and how it will be seen on a ground is very important to have a real understanding and accurate measurement. These are some of the coastal features. So you can see that what is the pre and post monsoon change in a wetland in the Kerala. So you can see the change dynamics that is happening on any coastal parts as well.
We've taken this least three data sets, which is a multispectral data sets of 2016 and 70. Thereafter, we'll be performing the auto rectification operation. We'll be rectifying it, the pre-processing like geo metric correction will be performed, radiometric correction will be performed, and thereafter we'll be normalizing the data set so that our data is free from all the geometric and radiometric errors, and thereafter we'll be using this multispectral channel satellite images for creation of indices through which we can extract the area of interest. Here, right now, whatever example that I am showing is representative of and the wetland index. So we'll be trying to highlight the wetland index, the wetlands, the water bodies from the satellite images, so as to extract the open water extent. Then we'll be providing the different kinds of attribution, what are the different kinds of wetlands that are available in that area. Thereafter, we'll be providing the attributes and we'll be overlaying the wetlands with the previous year wetlands so that we can have a chain detection analysis whether the volume of wetlands are increasing, decreasing, what is the current scenario and what is going to be in future. So with the help of the remote sensing and GIS technology, we can prepare a wetland mapping inventory. Thereafter, we can prepare a decadal changes in the wetland category, whether the wetland area is increasing or decreasing. And the same thing can be redistributed to various state governments, and the state governments can redistribute to various districts, block, villages, and we can see that which area or which villages or which blocks are performing well in different water conservation scheme, and which are the area which has to be targeted, so that the area where there is a negative change, where the agricultural land is or the water area or the water volume is decreasing, we'll be seeing the reasons why it is decreasing. And finally, we'll be identifying the hotspots and the vulnerable areas, which are the areas which are very vulnerable, and we have to identify those areas. So you can see that the satellite images provides you the best change detection, where you can see what over the decades there has been a change in the land use, land cover dynamics. So you can see that the changes, this is a linear imaging false color composite showing the change in the water level in that area. You can see that now the agricultural aquaculture is being harvested and the salt pans have been created and we are extracting salt. Previously it was not extracted. So these are the kind of change that you will see on the land. This is a positive change where the previously you can see that there was no reservoir, there was no structure, but post within the span of 10 years, you can see that a reservoir has been constructed. A large volume of water is stored, and this will be used for irrigation purpose. It will increase the groundwater condition of that area. And you can see that over the decade previously, the entire area was under some scrubland or wasteland. Now, because of this reservoir, you can see that the agricultural practice has significantly increased in that area as well as the water table. The same chain detection, you can see that what has happened along the river, that the vegetation has increased. The people have started vegetating that area more. Maybe they have done some forest plantation along that area, or there is an increase in the crops. That can be verified in the field, but that is a positive change if it is a forest land. And you can also see that here previously there was no salt extraction being performed, but now you can see a lot of salt extraction is being extracted, and salt pans you can easily identify using this multi-temporal data set. So the more you see the area, the more the interpretation you will be able to identify, the more number of classes, and then you can react properly. That's why always we say that the accuracy of your classified map depends on the experience of the interpreter, or how much he is experienced, or how much different terrain he has seen the satellite images. because if you go in India, each and every geographical area, the terrain is different, the land use is different, the features are different. So until unless you are not seeing the satellite terrain of different earth features, where they are located, along which feature, which geomorphological units will be demarcated. So all those features has to be demarcated. Like right now, if you see in the satellite image, maybe many people will be saying ki this is a glacier area or this is a salt affected land. But what is this? Because you can see a shadow along it. So this is not a salt affected land, but that is a clouding in that portion. So because I have got the experience, that's why I can say that this is a cloud. But a layman can say classify this according to as a barren land or a vacant land or a glaciers, depending on his experience. So that's why always the experience matters, always the exposure matters, always the amount of interface that you have with a different satellite image, different terrain, your interpretation skill increases. In the same way, you can see that previously there was no salt affected extraction was being done, but now you can see in the image that various kinds of salt pans has created up, and we are extracting salt from it. The same is in this part of the area, that is of 2006 and 2016. You can see that a lot of salt pan has created, and a lot of salt affected land or salted water is being extracted. The same way you can see the chain detection here. In 2006 there were no reservoir, but now in 2016 you can see. So the chain dynamics related to agricultural land, related to river chains, and that can happen only if you have got a multi-temporal satellite image. So you can see that how the satellite images can be used for classifying or seeing the various. Right now we are main focusing on wetlands and water properties. That's why we are focusing on such features. If we had been focusing in forest, then we will see forest. If you are focusing on build up, then you will be seeing build up. So it depends on your objective ki what part and what is the thrust area that you are interested in. So the same way you can see this is a negative change, where previously in 2006 there was a large part of land covered with a water body, but now the entire area has no water in it. So that is a negative change. So we have to see why this kind of feature has been created in that area, and that is because of mismanagement of the water. So we will be sending the field photograph, the GPS location to the concerned field officer who is working in the field of agriculture, land use, soil planning, and we'll be saying please go and see what is the condition and why it is happened, whether it is natural or man-made. And if it is man-made, then we have to restore this wetland, because until unless you are not restoring the wetland, the entire agricultural land will be under tremendous threat because of the declining water table, and gradually this land can be a fertile land, can be converted over the decades into a desertic land. So initially such signatures at the initial level only we can identify, and we can have a proper planning so that all the wetlands, all the water bearing structures formation can be preserved, and we can have a good water all along in that area, and all the productive land remains productive. And mostly we'll also try to convert the unproductive land into the production by using the various mitigation measures. In the same way, you can see this satellite image that previously in 2006 in this portion there was no water body coming up, but in 2017 you can see a large water body coming up. So because primarily we are focusing on water body, that's why I am showing the water body. You can see the various other features. So it's not that only the changes will be seen in the water body. You can see in the entire changes in the land use, land cover pattern, that in 2006 the amount of vegetation or forested area was very low in nature, but when we compare that with 2017, the entire area has increased, or it has become more dense, means more land which was under various category of wasteland category has been gradually converted into a productive land. So the changes along the decade can be easily mapped and monitored using the satellite images. In the same way, you can see here also new features have come up, and that can be easily identified using the satellite images. The same is this here also. You can see a large water body has increased, And we are because of the various mitigation and management activities that the state government at local level and central government in association with the state government is providing various government funds for the restoration of the land and maintaining the productivity of land. And such kind of changes, the positive changes, is a good signature that whatever government of India is spending towards the restoration and preservation, we are nearly trying to solve the mission and vision of Honorable Prime Minister related to conversion of unproductive land or land degraded categories into a productive land. So you can see that new water bodies have come up, and we have constructed few artificial recharge sites where the water level has increased. In the same way, you can see that in previous past there was no mining activity being done in this part of the area, but it has gradually, a large part of the area has been mined, and that is generally open cast mine. It can be a bricklaying or a extraction of some ore resources in that area. And you can see the changes in this mining activity, how the mining activity can gradually degrade the quality of the soil, and you're making a productive land into unproductive category. So we'll be stopping such kind of activities, and in case you are continuing it with your mining activity, you can be said that post your mining activity, you can restore this land by cultivating various kinds of forests. So we can see that whether the activity what the government of India says in its rule and guidelines related to the mining activity, whether they are properly implemented by the government or the agency who is involved in mining. In the same way, you can see that in 2006, there was no water body, maximum water body was capacity was low, but in 2070, you can see a large water body has come up, and that can increase the water availability in that area, and gradually you can see a large area has been or is being cultivated, and that is a positive change whenever you're so conservation of this wetlands or water bodies can be done at a minute level, and you can see the changes in that area, and the satellite images provide you the best definition or the best information about that area. So in the same way, you can see this is a mining activity, how it happens, how the open cast mine, the this entire area is underwater because there the extraction has been done and quarry is going on in the present area, and this area is abundant mine where the water get deposited in that area. Many times you will see in Jharkhand and all, the people used to drink such water from the mining area, and it's very disastrous to their health. So the government has adopted or is investing a lot of money to make this water drinkable, or if it is not drinkable, that can be utilized for other irrigation activities. So that is of a prime concern, and we must preserve such kind of structures. As well as the government has said ki you have to plant a number of trees where the extraction has been done. So you can see a large number of vegetated portion. How it is seen in the field can be easily monitored. If an agency is saying that, you know, I have planted all the trees, I am following all the government rules and regulations. So satellite images provides you the real information ki whether that personal or whether that agency, whatever statement that they are said, or whatever the directions that the government is saying, whether they are following those directions or not, we can clearly see it from our satellite image. There is no need of going to each and every places altogether. So you see that ki how the wetland categories is increasing or decreasing over the decades in the various wetland parts that has been mapped by government of India, and we can see whether this in which state which wetlands fall in, what is the Ramsar criteria that has to be followed when it was declared, and what is the total area. So whether the wetlands that has been notified by government of India, whether those wetlands are properly maintained, properly monitored. So such kind of activities, remote sensing provide you the real-time data sets pertaining to those information. So using the satellite data and other ancillary data with field data and ground data, we'll be trying to map a final map or a final wetlands using the various indices that we have done earlier, we have studied earlier, and they can provide a real-time information of the changes that has happened over the decades in that area. And finally, we'll be overlaying over different decadal change if you want to see what has happened from 1970 to 2020, and then we have got various GIS models where we can predict about the future. So such kind of activities can be easily done, and we can monitor our wetlands. So you can see what are the changes over the decades over the area, whether the wetland is increasing and decreasing. You can have a real-time analysis. So this is a standard false color composite showing the wetland from 1989 to 2006. We can clearly see that the amount of volume is gradually decreasing, means that is on a negative side, and most of part is being encroached for agricultural practices. So we can construct or consult the government or the local authorities that this is a prime concern and you must restore this wetland, and a proper instruction can be given to the local peoples that they cannot occupy the land and they have to stop encroaching those wetlands. And you can see that how over the decades in 1998, 99, how the positive changes that the government has implemented and the amount of vegetation has increased over that area can be easily monitored. In the same way, you can see that what was the changes during pre and post monsoon in any area can be easily monitored, and you can see what is the amount of sediment contained during post monsoon, whether what is the amount of siltation, whether the volume is increasing, what is the aquatic life, whether the vegetation is decreasing, whether we are encroaching those wetlands can be easily monitored and mapped. So you can see in 1996, in 2006 and 2012. So if you compare with 96 with a 2012 image, you will see a large portion of land being occupied by various vegetation. That is means the wetlands is decreasing. So if it is decreasing, you will see how you will be preparing the various kinds of a change detection map using these satellite images, and such neat and clean lesions has to be prepared where the different land use land covers the knot, the lesion should be properly monitored. So you will be preparing the various kinds of maps where you will be showing the various kinds of volumes of water, the vegetation, the aquatic life, and you will be preparing all these lesions, and this will be sent to the government of India or various state agency. You have to see whether the activity pertaining to the various kinds of land conservation or land management is whether it is properly implemented or not, and where there is an increase in vegetation, where there is a decrease in water, and thereafter you will have a field photograph of those area, whatever statements that we are seeing, whether the statements, whether the objects what we are seeing. So you can see various kinds of scrubs and whether the water table is increasing, decreasing, what is the water level, what is the deforestation condition, what is the agriculture, whether we are encroaching it. So such kind of real-time information can be easily obtained using satellite remote sensing with limited field checks. We can have a pre and post multi-temporal, multi-decadal analysis where you can see how the bird sanctuaries is gradually decreasing, the water table has increased, the water volume has decreased. So you can see what was the area in this in 1980, and now in 2007 you can see a lot of reduction has happened, and this will adversely affect the flora and fauna in that area. So in the same way, you can see about the wetlands, whether the wetlands is increasing, decreasing, what is the mangrove coral regions in that area, and thereafter using the satellite images, we'll be properly modeling it, mapping it, and we'll be trying to have an analysis whether there is a positive change or negative change using proper layout, lesions of different land use, land features. It should be neat and clean. A proper layout should be there, proper geographical extension should be there. And in this way, we can see the positive changes, what has happened over the decades can be easily. So you can see that what was the condition in 1973 in the vegetation type and what is it in 2004, whether that is a positive change or the negative. So you see that in 1973, there was no island, but in 2004, there is an island coming up. So what is the change, whether there is geomorphological change or a climate change, all those features can be easily monitored, whether new features are responsible like construction of railway lines, unplanned fishing, soil cutting, pollution due to industrial development, encroachment, hunting, trapping, killing of wild birds, mammals can be easily seen. And using the multi historical data sets, you can see how the same feature is seen in the field and how they look like in the field. So these are the whiter hyacinth plant and a dense vegetation look like. This is a dense forest. In and along there is a airport. So all the information about any terrain can be easily monitored using these satellite images. And we are already doing a lot of exercise and practicals related to the change in the water dynamics that can happen over the decade in any part of the world can be easily monitored, and we can prepare a very kind of classified image where we can classify the different kinds of wetland candidatureship with limited field work, and we can have a multi-temporal data sets and multi-classified image, and any person working in the field of wetlands can easily identify and see what are the changes in the field. And with this, I come to my today's presentation on application of remote sensing in different indices. You can see how the 3D is created. So all the functions are there in GIS. You can do various kinds of researches that will be doing more into the research when we'll be going more into detail about the encroachment, about the land use changes, how the rapid urbanization is gradually and threat to the major wild sanctuary or wetlands can be easily monitored, can be easily delineated, can be easily monitored, delineated, and we can say about the various threats that are of threat to the environment. With this, I'll come to my end of my today's presentation.